Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to draft an off-shoulder bustier. This bustier is actually for beginners. It's very simple and easy. When I actually started sewing, this was the first bustier I learned how to do as a beginner. Just follow this illustration, you are good to go. You cut a bustier that is so simple and easy to sew. So first I'm going to be using this paper, this white paper. So the measurement I'm going to be using, the bust is going to be 40. So as I go along, I will insert the measurement. First, in drafting an off-shoulder bustier, you know it's not going to be having shoulders. So I'm going to be using 5. 5 is to drop the shoulder. That's when you're putting the hand or you're using hanger, whatever. So I'll use 5 inches. So you place your tape like this. You fold your fabrics. I'm just assuming this is a draft, but if for a beginner, you fold your fabric, you measure the bust of the dress, divide it into 4, and then add 5 inches as your allowance. So it will show if the bust is 10, which is 40. When you add 5 inches, you have 15 inches. You can make it 15, you can make it 16. So that's how you determine how to fold your fabric, so you don't waste your fabric. So you measure, you use 5 inches. This 5 inches is actually for the shoulder, but it's not going to be having shoulder. So that is why we'll you minus the 5 inches out of it. So you place your tape like this. This is the 5 inches for the shoulder line, that's for the hanger. And the breast point of this draft is 11-15. That's the breast point, 11, then 15. That's the under part. So this is 11. I've already done the 11 inches before with my red marker, but the marker is not bright, so I'll change to the blue one. So 11-15, like I said, this 11 inches. This is for the breast point, so I'll just indicate it like this, breast point. Then for the under bust, I have 15 inches. That's under bust here. So this is 15 inches. Then you add 2 inches as your allowance, but that's if you are making a half cut, you add 2 inches for your allowance. But if you are making a full blouse, which is this, I'm not going to be adding anything. When I get to the down part, which is the waist, I'll add the allowance. So this is my 5 inches for my shoulder, is minus. This is my 11 inches for my breast point, 15 for the under bust. Then the length of the blouse is 20 inches. So this is my 20 inches. Then I'll add 1 inch as my allowance. You can add 2, so that depends on you, what you want. So I'll just mark out my lines. So the next thing, this is the back piece. I'll just set it aside. The next thing I'm going to be doing now is the middle part. That's the middle measurement. So most times when you're measuring, always take your tape like this and place to measure. For this, you can see this is 8 inches. So you always measure. It's better for you to measure. And you can add 1 inch as seam allowance or half an inch. So for this, I'm going to be making use of 4.5, but you can see what I have here is 8. So I'll make it, 8, when you divide 8 into 2, you can see it's folded into 2. That is why. So when you divide 8 into 2, you have 4. And I will now add half an inch, which is for the same allowance. So what I'll have here is 4.5 inch here like this. I'll mark like this, 4.5. All the way down, 4.5. 4.5. Then I'll connect my lines now with my ruler. I'm making it straight. So I've indicated this first line is the breast point. I use BP as the breast point. This is the under bust. This is the blouse length, which is the full length. Then I have the allowance at the down. My pattern paper is not enough. You can, normally you're supposed to add like 2 inches as your allowance, but my pattern paper is not enough, so that's why I just left it like this. So from the top part, you measure 1 inch. This is 1 inch from this right hand side of, after drawing your line. Remember that this middle part we used 4.5 inches. Why we use 4.5 inches is that you measure from the nipple part. When you measure it, you add 1/2 inch to it as your allowance. So I had 8, so I now added 1/2 inch. So I now use 1 inch here, like I've been saying, 1 inch here. Then at this down part, I have 1 inch here. So now what I'm going to be doing now, I'll take this from this my 1 inch here, from that's the down part, I'll bring it like this. When I get to this place, I'll now make a curve and hit this 1 inch on this right side. That's what I'm going to be doing. It's very simple and easy. So I can decide to use my curve. You can decide to use your hand if you don't have a curve. Don't just worry about it. You can use your hand, but make sure it's not sharp. Just make sure it's not sharp, because you don't want sharp edges. Because you don't want sharp edges. So you take it like this. This is still the 1 inch. We're still maintaining here. The 1 inch is still here. You can see it. Then you bring it down to join this place. Like, you can make use of your ruler if you want to, but most times I don't really want it to be sharp. You can just bring it down like this. Then the next thing you do again, you take another 1 inch from this left side like this. Take another 1 inch here. This 1 inch too, you bring it down here like this, and then take this one up. This up part, you know, initially we took 1 inch for this side, but for this other side you take 1/2 inch. Remember, it's not 1 inch, it's half. For this left side is half, right is 1. So I'm gonna be joining my lines again. I'll take it like this. When I get to this place, I'll stop. I'll use my curve. I'll just use my curve ruler like this, just to make a little curve like this. For beginners, if you don't have a curve ruler, you can use your hand. You can just use your hand. When you get to this point like this, you can see the way this part is like this again. You come, and then you can just use your ruler to bring it down like this. This is 1/2 inch, this is 1 inch. So you can see, so now I'm going to be cutting it out. I'll cut the first one out. And then cut the other part out. So the next thing I'm gonna be doing now, I'm gonna be measuring the shoulder and the armhole out of it. That's I'm taking the shape from the side. So you take your the middle piece like this, you place. So I use a masking tape to join it together because I don't want it to shift. So this is the back piece now. I'll place it like this. I'll use 1.5 inch here as my zip allowance. That's for this back piece. So I'll place like this. Then the next thing I'm going to be doing now is I'll measure the shoulder. The shoulder is 16, which is 8. You divide into 2, which is 8 inches. I'll mark it like this. And then add 1 inch as my allowance. So from here, like I said initially, you know we have a 5 inch addition because this is an off shoulder. So for basic regular armhole is usually 9 inches. So I'll measure my 9 inch here like this, and then I'll make my curve. I'll join with my ruler. So when you add your 5 inch like this, you can see the full shoulder, the full armhole here. So that's that. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now, I'll measure the bust, which I told you initially, I said is 40 inches. 40 inches is 10. When you divide 40 for beginners, when you divide 40 into 4, you have 10 inches. So this is my 10 inches. You place it just a little bit above the breast point. This is 10 inches, that which is below the armhole. 10 inches. I'll use 3 inches as my allowance. You can use 2 inches. You can actually use 2 inches. I'll just make a line like this. You take your ruler and just make a slant just from here like this, a slant. Just make a slant like this and stop it here. So now the under bust, the under bust measurement, which is this part, is 34. When you divide 34 into 4, you have 17. You have 8.5 inches. So you place like this. I divided 34. When you divide 34 into 4, you have 8.5 inches. You put it like this. Sorry, I'll put like this. Then I'll add the same 3 inches I used for the breast part, that I used for the bust. That's what I'm going to be using too. This is 3 inches. So now take this ruler and connect these lines together. When I get to this point, I'll stop. This point, I'll stop. Then for the down part of the blouse, always measure. Like I always say, everything about sewing is measurement. Always measure. Measure how wide you want the down part of your blouse to be. Measure. Always measure. So for this one, I'm going to be using 43 inches. So when you divide 43, the simple way for beginners how to divide, if you are not very good with mathematics, it's just for you to connect your tape, like you join your tape together like this. This is 2. And then you take the other piece again, you join again like this. And then when you get to this midpoint, you now know, okay, this is almost 11. You place your tape like this at the down part. You mark it like this, and then you add the same 3 inches allowance that we have been working with. You add the same 3 inches allowance here, and you get it down like this. Then what I'm going to be doing now is from those points now, you make a slant like this down to join this your 3 inches line that these 3-inch points that we made, you make a slant like this. So you take your ruler like this. I'll take from this point, I'll just make a slant like this, and then I'll cut it out. In pattern drafting, you can do without your French curves. You can use your hands to manipulate your French curve, but when it comes to the ruling part, you cannot do without a ruler. So I'll cut it like this. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is my shoulder slant. So I'm going to be doing it along with the neck of the blouse. Like I said, initially there's still this 5 inches that is out of it because it's an off-shoulder blouse. So if you don't want to run into problems, maybe rather you might forget, you place your ruler, your tape like this and measure. If you measure the neck measurement like this, you are going to get it so wrong. So always remember that 5 inches is out. You place your ruler, your tape like this, and then it depends on how deep you actually want your neck to be, the neck measurement to be. Like I always say, always measure. For this, I'm going to be using 7 inches. So 7 inches, if you take your tape and you place it like this and measure 7 inches, you run into problems. So always make sure that your 5 inches, that initial 5 inches that you subtracted is there. Then this is 7 inches. You just make it like this. This is my 7 inches. For this, I'm going to be making a sweetheart neck. Just a little V here. So you just take like this. This is the 7-inch line. So you just make a curve like this. Just make a curve like this first. Then for this part, you measure. Like most times, I normally use between 3 and 3.5. If you don't want neck that is very open. So for this, I'll be making use of 3.5, the same 3.5 that I always make use of. You can make use of 3. So you make it. You can see what I did. It's just like something like a reverse like this, not like this, but like a reverse like this. That is what I did. You just make it a curve, something like an arc. Thank you. Something like an arc like this. So I just make the arc to meet my 3.5 inch that I made. You can see, just make an arc like this to the 3.5 inch. Then from this 3.5 inch, I'll use my 1/2 inch measurement to make my shoulder slant. This is 1/2 inch. To make my shoulder slant, I'll just take my ruler again. Like I said, you can do without French curves, but you cannot do without ruler. So 1/2 inch like this. Measure, always measure, always measure. So you just take it like this, and then you slant it down here. As it is getting down from this part, it will become like 1 inch down from this side. It will be 1 inch. So I'm just going to cut it out. I'll cut the back and the front, but I'm not cutting the neck or for the back yet. I'll make my shoulder slant like this. Then for the front piece, I'll just make my curve like this. So for the back piece, for the neck, for the back, you can make whatever you want. For this, I think I should just make a square neck. So for the square neck, depends on how deep you want it. So I'll just take my tape like this. I'll just make here. This is the under bust, which does this part. So that means this part is here. So I don't want the neck to be deep. So I'll just make it a little bit above. So I can just mark it like this. You can decide to measure. You can decide to measure. For me, I don't want to measure. And my 3.5 inch is still here. Initially we use 1.5 as our zip allowance. This is the 1.5. Then 3.5 here. So I just make a square. and then cut out. So for the back piece, you just use your 4 inches to insert your regular dart on it. So then open up the side, that is for the zip part. So this is the back of the dress. That's the back of the pattern of the draft. I'm used to dresses. And this is the middle piece. This is the middle piece. As you can see, this is the sweetheart neck. As you can see. So this is, like I said initially, I said this breast cut pattern is very easy if you are a beginner and you can't actually draft. I have various types of breast cut pattern illustrations on my channel, but this is the simplest and the easiest of them all, that as a beginner you can just do it and you get it. You can, with this you can never go wrong. If you are having difficulty with breast cut, just try out this pattern. I assure you that you're going to get it and you are going to be surprised at how beautiful it will come out. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like my video, share my video. If you actually like what I'm doing, don't forget to hit on the like button to let me know. So thank you so much for watching, and bye bye. So I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, like my video, share my video. If you actually like what I've done, for this tutorial, please don't forget to hit on the like button so to let me know.